Hello, Serge here from the Backyard Driving Range. Have a letter that came into customer service from Dom Guido Bianco. Okay, Dom. He says, "Hi, Serge. Your tips are fantastic. I am 72, been using your PP swing for at least 3 years and love it. I play with 3 of my neighbors and usually hit my shots straight and consistent. My golf buddies are amazed. Lately, I have been having problems with moving some parts of my body at setup. So I videoed my swing. I found that I am moving my head as I swing up at least 4 inches. But as I swing forward, my head goes down. Of course, all of this takes place in 2 seconds. Actually, probably in many cases, it might be a little bit shorter than 2 seconds. What I am wondering is this normal? I feel this can cause my fairway chops as I top the ball. Your tips on outward pressure and preloaded heavy right, PLHR, in my setup is an outstanding tip. Anyway, can you address my problem of head movement? Thanks, Dom." Okay, Dom, I've talked many times about head movement. And basically, if your head is moving, you're in trouble because the ball's not moving. So therefore, somehow, some way, you have to get back to the right position at impact in terms of height and lateral movements or combinations of both. So I have this statement that the less things move, the more they stay the same. So the question becomes, as you stated, that your head moves about 4 inches in the backswing and then it comes down in the forward swing. So I'm not certain if it just moves laterally 4 inches or up and laterally and then comes down. Either way, it's moving, and in many cases, what goes up has to come down. So the question becomes, what are the main probabilities or reasons why we move? Well, number one simply could be too wide a stance. If your feet are way too wide and you're trying to turn your weight, and especially if you get a little preloaded heavy right and you're trying to really get your weight and get loaded on that back leg, as I talk about, inline load, you're very likely it's going to pull your body backwards. So your spine moves, all your hips move, everything moves, and you get behind the ball. And basically, in some cases, especially if you're still moving your forward knee too much, as you move with that forward knee, if the knee goes down, it's going to make this leg go straight, and that could be could give you lateral slide. Excuse me. That could give you lateral slide as well as lift your body up. So a wide stance could do it. Too much forward knee motion can do it, where you're making that term I call special K. We've always been told lift the foot and turn the knee in towards the forward knee towards the back knee, because that's going to give more hip turn to help you make a bigger upper body rotation and get yourself behind the ball. Well, in a wide stance, it's going to get you behind the ball, but you're going to do it by swaying. Here, with the narrow stance we use, and I said, I'm already here. We're just going to basically turn just a little bit, sit in the right side, and fire. So with the right leg directly under the forward shoulder all the time, we just turn and we just lift in place, and then boom, we're right there. So the width of stance is critical. Not moving the knees too much is critical. Another basic reason why they want you to move the forward knee in is all that, to give you more turn. So even if you're trying to make a limited turn swing, one of the big things we found with most Sergites when we see them in private lessons and golf schools is they still have more knee action than they think they're having, which is still way too much to really keep yourself stable. Because most golfers, if you move your forward knee more than about 1 inch, it's susceptible to breaking down, and that's going to pull this hip down, and if it pulls this hip down, it pushes these up, and so your head could go down, or if you stand, you could actually stand up as the back leg straightens. I've already said that. So the key becomes controlling that. The other thing that happens is if it moves too much, you could be, let's say you have a narrow stance, and you are preloaded heavy right, but you're still trying to turn too much. That can cause, as you turn more and your clubs get behind you, and your arms start to turn and your arms and club get behind you, that'll pull your torso backwards, and there's your lateral movement. So now when you're back here and you've moved off the ball, you have to go back and get it. And because you turn too much and you start to turn your shoulders back to get the club up and back in front of you, that turning pulls you forward and down, and there's your downward movement in the forward swing. So basically what it comes down to is you definitely, very likely got way too much lower body movement of your legs. And is it caused by too wide a stance or too much turn and swinging and getting the club too long in the backswing? Those are probably the 3 biggest areas that I would suggest are the big problems, because that's what we see lesson after lesson, golf school after golf school. And the beautiful thing that I could say about this is that even when we see too much of it, and many of you feel like you're really doing a great job on the swing, which you are, it would be, just think about if you still got too much where you were before. And so what I'm saying now is, very likely most of you need to cut down the movement even more. So you might want to say today, as you tighten things down, take a practice and say, how much did I move on a scale, say, of 1 to 20, if what you started today was a 10, and now you were making this much movement, and now you go like this, and you say, how much movement have I got? If you can say 10 or 20 or 30% less than 10%, a 10, you got it down to 70, basically working in 10% increments of 1 to 10, meaning 10 is a lot. Is a lot of movement. 1 is almost no movement. We can't do 0. We got to move to hit a golf ball. So the closer you get from that 10 down to number 1, you know you're moving less. And I've had a lot of people, most of the time I like to see when I really get somebody really calming down the knees and staying and cutting down the turn and length of the backswing, they'll come down and say as much as they've gone down to a 5, a 4, and even a 3. And I love to hear that, because that means you're getting to the point like swinging a rock. As the rock goes faster and faster, your hand moves less and less. The symbolism in golf, this is the rock, this is the string, and this is the hand. So the quieter we keep the hand, the faster and more controlled we can swing the string, which has the rock on the end, to hit it. So my body's the rock. So we get our power by holding our body. The rock is the club head. The shaft is and forward arm is your string, and the backswing to impact, and your body's the hand. Hold the hand, move less, swing more controlled, hit the ball more solid and straight. And even in that case, that was a little bit of a thin, but it still went dead straight. But when you can get that, when you can say you were a 10 and you work on quieting the knees and the torso down and shortening the swing, and you can start feeling that you're getting down from a 10 to a 9, 8, 7, 6, you get down to a 5 or better, you know you're really getting into starting to make a really good peak performance golf swing. All right, that's it for today, and I'll be talking to y'all again soon.